guys, DIY Maniac here today, and we are going to be doing an oil change on my 2013 Honda Civic with the 1.8 liter. So as you can see, I already have my car up on ramps. Now I do prefer using ramps when doing an oil change. It's a lot easier and quicker to get them up, and you don't have to fiddle with jacks and jack stands. So on the Honda Civic, you have an oil life monitoring system, which I was very familiar with. I had it on my old Chevy Cobalt, and I do not follow that at all. I'm not a big supporter of those monitoring systems. I still prefer to do my oil changes at predetermined intervals. Auto manufacturers are in the business to sell you cars, not keep cars on the road for 10 plus years. So I like to do mine every 4 months or 7,000 kilometers. I guess that would be about 5,000 miles for you guys in the US. And that's the way I do it. I'm not saying it's the right way, it's just the way I do it and the way I've always been doing it. So for our oil change, what we're going to need is a 5 liter or 4 liter, 4 quart, 5 quart jug of 0W20 full synthetic oil. We're going to need our Honda oil filter. I always use OEM or manufacturer's oil filters. I never use, the ones out there, or the oranges, the whites, those companies. Nope, I don't use them. I use original manufacturer oil filters always. You're also going to need the crush washer, basically the gasket for the oil pan drain plug. A lot of people say, you only need to change it once every few oil changes. Guys, it's 10 cents. Change it every time. Why even worry about it? As far as tools, we're going to need our torque wrench for torquing on our drain bolt plug. On this particular model, it's 29 foot-pounds. Oil filter wrench. A lot of times with these spin-on oil filters, they are on there tight. So I'm going to open up the hood and then we'll continue on the video. The hood is open. A couple more tools we're going to need. Now, as far as socket sizes, screwdriver, I believe it's a Phillips, to remove the skid panel underneath the car. I'll detail what we're using when we get to those steps. Couple more things we're going to be using. Oil drain, our catch can for our oil. We're also going to need, very important, shop towels. Can't go wrong with these. So we're going to need those to keep our hands clean, keep different stuff clean. I also use latex gloves just to be even more clean. So as you can see, I got my work light on. So the only thing we really need to do under the hood is remove the filler cap, which is there. So we just unscrew that. Now the reason we remove that is to allow air in as it's draining. That way it drains much faster when you take the drain plug out and removing the old oil. It's basically like plumbing in a house. Air behind water causes the liquid to flow more. And the only other thing under the hood we'll be checking later on is our dipstick, which is right there. And we'll get to that when it's time. So here we are under the car. So as mentioned, on this particular car, we have a rear underside skid plate that needs to be removed so we could gain access to both the oil drain plug and the oil filter. So you can see those are all in there, and you got this metal plate. There's 3 Phillips head screws that need to be removed. One in the top right. There's one in the bottom right. I don't know how well you guys are going to see this. So there's one there. And then there's one in the back on the other side as well. So there's the 3 screws. Actually 4. Sorry. There's another one up here. See if I can get it on the camera. There we go. They need to be removed, and then once those are removed, the plate itself slides backwards and just drops right off, and that gives us access to everything underside. Here's the skid plate removed. As you can see, it's just a very thin piece of metal. We'll go under the car, and I'll show you now with the skid plate removed how everything looks underneath, and thus giving us access. As we can see, the oil drain plug is right there. And our, sorry about that, and our oil filter is right there, as you can see. So it's in a pretty good position. That's easy enough to get to. That shouldn't cause too many troubles. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the drain plug, and I'll come right back and tell you guys the size of socket that you're going to need for that. So the answer to our question is 17 millimeter is the size of the drain plug screw. Sorry, the oil pan drain plug. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, start draining the oil. You can see here the oil pan drain plug is removed. We can see the old crush washer there. So what I like to do is clean up the drain plug. We remove and discard of our old crush washer. Something's a little stubborn to remove because it's been crushed on. You know, it gets a little deformed, but you can work it off. So the way I like to do is spin it. As you can see, there's our removed crush washer. You can see where it's crushed and deformed, basically to make the contour of the plug and the pan. And that's why I always replace it every oil change. So we throw the old one out. We take our new one, which is here, and we insert that over the drain plug, and we're ready to go. Like I said, on this car, on the 1.8 liter, it's torqued on to 29 foot-pounds. Now, for the oil filter, there's two things I like to do before putting the oil filter on the car. As most of you know, take a little bit of clean oil, dab it on your finger, and put it on the rubber gasket, the O-ring. Basically what that does is it stops any kind of binding when you're tightening it, and just makes it easier the next time you have to remove it. What I also like to do is fill the oil filter with oil. Now on this car it's easily done because the oil filter gets installed facing downwards, so no oil would ever spill out. If you have a car where you have to come in sideways, that could get a little tricky. But I always like to fill them up with oil, and I'll tell you why. Normally when your car has been running, this constantly has oil in it. So when you start up the car and the sump kicks on to pump the oil pump starts flowing the oil. It already has oil ready to go in the system right at the filter, which is higher up. When this is empty, there's no oil getting into the motor as quickly as it would when the filter has oil in it, because it's now at a lower point, which is only in the oil pan. So now it's got to pump oil up through the system, fill the filter, and then get it into the engine, into the motor. So it's just a thing I like to do, fill it up with oil, less time the engine's running dry upon initial startup after an oil change. Put your drain plug back in, torque it, screw on your oil filter, hand tight, never use the wrench to tighten it. You only need hand tight, so you're going to snug it by hand, give it a quarter turn, that's good enough. Obviously, once the oil change is done, you're going to start the engine and look for any leaks. But if you do hand tight, you're not going to have any problem. I'll share a couple more points with you that are very important. This is the new oil filter we're looking at. Let's pretend it's the old. When you remove it from the vehicle, the important thing to look for is your rubber gasket to make sure it came with the filter. Another thing I like to do is take my shop towel when I'm under the car and just clean up the mating surface of the oil filter and the housing. Remove any oil, any drips. I mean, that should be done from all parts of underneath the car where oil may have dripped upon doing your oil change. So that's just one key factor I wanted to share with you guys. So we're at the step now where we're going to be adding the oil back to the car. Once again, our 0W20, fully synthetic. So you're going to take your funnel and you're going to start adding your oil to the car. I usually let it go and then let it settle. Now, obviously, before checking your oil for the final time, or once you know you're getting close, you want to start up the car. Make sure everything is filled with oil, all the chambers, the filter is fully filled with oil. I know we pre-filled it, but it might not have been 100% where it needs to be. And then we could get more accurate checks. And in the Honda manual, it says we should be checking hot. We're at the stage now where we're going to be checking the oil. I know I'm pretty much where I want to be as far as volume put in. So now it's just to make those fine-tune adjustments. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove your dipstick over here. You're going to take it out. You're going to clean it off. Don't take a reading right away because it won't be accurate. Remove all excess oil with your shop towel. Reinsert the dipstick in. Fully insert the dipstick to get a proper reading. Take the dipstick out, and then you're going to make your reading. With the aid of, you can take your trouble light, your shop light, and try to get a reading. I'll show you guys close up what the dipstick looks like. So if we look here, you can see there's like a honeycomb pattern on it. So you want the oil to be in that honeycomb. That's your low and your high. preferably more towards the high side. You never want to overfill either. That's not good. So you can kind of see where the oil level's at. You see you have those diamond patterns in the honeycomb. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm up to the third one. It's filled with oil. So that's how you know where you are. You can then reconfirm on the other side, and it'll give you that same information. Camera doesn't want to focus. There we go. So as we could see, we're in the middle. And that's pretty much it. And then your oil change is done. So like I said, I know there's many videos out there for oil changes on a Honda Civic. I just wanted to add to the library of videos and also give you guys, my subscribers, another video. So once again, that's an oil change on my 2013 Honda Civic 1.8 liter. So that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I'll have more videos coming up soon. So once again, comment, like, and subscribe. Have a great day, guys.